Hello, Internet. So, last week we started a new game, but that save file is no more. I realized I had too many save files, and then when I tried to start a different new game to play not on stream, it just disappeared. So I will be starting another new game today. Just another, I guess, learning as you poke it kind of person happening. So let's get started on another new game where I talk more this time. We'll keep the name as the same name from last time, the twitchy one. Standard size map, so it's the middle size. There's tiny, small, standard, large, and huge. Tiny and small, I feel like, don't have quite enough resources for long-term gameplay, and large and huge get bogged down pretty quickly. So I go with standard. I play with the Tassins mods. I normally play with the one that doesn't have ints. And I did realize last time, after I started my new game, that part of the reason the building was taking so long is that random Spriggan that appeared had killed off one of my builder gnomes. But I did say I was going to try to actually have... Hold on a second, a cat is misbehaving. Stop it, Frodo. Okay, so I was going to start... We're going to start with the base mod that does include ints and Spriggans, and hopefully nobody dies this time. Let's see, we'll go ahead and give our gnomes extra fashion. You have to pick, there's 2.1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You have to choose options, so there's fashion on or off. I like on. You can either, for 2, start with all you have to research your engineering, or you don't. You just get it all. Hold on. Frodo, the cat. I don't want you up there. Go down there. The life of a cat owner. Let's see, 2.3, realistic trade on. Merchants will only buy items they are interested in versus no brush. He has speech buttons, and of course he's pushing them right now as I'm trying to get started. So I don't like the realistic trade. I'm not going to change too much about this playthrough. Otherwise, I'll be fumbling the whole time instead of showing you how I play.
Brush.
Man, he wants brushes real bad. So this is another version of smelting where you have to find all the ores, so we'll do that. And temperate biome I think is the prettiest, along with decorative flowers and flowers. Strong start gives you some extra gnomes, a needle, some things. Hang on a sec. Let's see. Come here. Oh. Sit up here and I will brush pet you while I talk. Here. No. Okay, he doesn't want to sit up here. I was like, sit up here where I can turn the camera on, but no. So decorative floors adds some new floor tiles, so it's just nice to have more options. Flowers adds some variation to the grass tiles, so that's nice. It just makes a little bit, adds some like wildflowers, so there's a little bit more variation. And then extra gnomes, some livestock, and a few extra supplies. So I like all that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then those 3. Those are the mods I like. I also like basically to start with a cube. So we're going to turn off everything except spiders, because I'm going to see if I can capture some spiders. Oh, I think Frodo behind me is taking apart his speech button mat. I will have to fix that later. The map is now generating. And the cat is in fact misbehaving directly behind me. Map is almost generated. Frodo is probably going to start chewing on electrical cables here in a minute, trying to get attention, and I may have to kick him out. Hopefully... Oh, good. So, we've got a little water here near the beginning. Let's zoom out and have a look at our map. So this is zoomed out as it gets. Got a little bit of water over here. We've got some pink trees. They have pink wood. Just one color. Oh, nope, there's some blue trees over here as well. I'm not going to complain about it. All right. Let's see. So you always start in the exact middle of our map. The map is 128 by 128. You can look at, I just grabbed the tool, the take clippings tool, which is the first thing I'm going to do pretty much, but it's 128 by 128 is the standard size map. I think the tiny map's like 60 by 60, which isn't even enough for the usual amount of farms and pastures and groves, much less all the extras that I like to have. So 1, 2, these 4 squares right here are the exact center of the map. I know that from experience, so I'm gonna double check and make sure there aren't any trees here. And then we're going to use the forage command to clear out the center area where I want to build my central quadruple helix staircase. So these 4 staircases will spiral around each other. Oops. Okay. Press C to cancel a job. I use K to dig staircases down, and then R rotates them around so you get the different perspectives, and that makes them actually spiral down. So we'll dig down to layer 7, which is where stone starts. So here at layer 6 is where digging there gives us to 7. All right, let's come back up here. Let's zoom in a little bit. All right, so because there's water here and I don't want to cover over it if I can help it, we'll do pasture land down in the bottom quadrant. We'll do the farms to the right and groves above. So let's start by trimming some trees. I usually do it in sections of about 10 because I usually build the things sized 8, so that gives me the 8 plus space on either side. Not very many trees, which is, whoops, I only want it to go slow. So the farmers are taking limbs from the trees, which will let us replant trees. And then we're going to use our woodcutters will cut them down. So now we're going to forage out the grass and the pomegranates are these guys. We've got some potatoes over here. You don't start with seeds for everything. You'll either get seeds from harvesting wild turnips and potatoes and pomegranates, and then you can farm them from there, or you can trade for them, or you can use your alchemist to invent them. I usually end up getting everything through alchemy before I do very much trading. So let's see. So I've paused the game, as you can see. I've used the keep U to bring up the floor replacement pop-up menu, and then I'm going to replace the clay flooring with dirt because you can't plant things in clay, you have to plant them in dirt. So we're going to need some dirt, so we're going to also mine out not level 1, but everything below that. We'll do a 6 by 6 square around our staircases. So they're still mining, so let's leave them to that and watch harvesting. So I said pasture was going to be here, farms, and grove. So I've already planted, or replaced, dirt over here. I'm hoping it'll grow into grass. I think the grass is prettier, and you can see it at the bottom of the trees. It doesn't matter for farms, because they're going to plow the land for the farms so that you have little furrows. So you're not going to have grass in the farms, but you will have grass under the trees in your groves. So we'll skip one for the space around it and build an 8x8 farm. I'm going to give it priority 2, wheat. So as soon as the farmers finish foraging everything, they'll automatically come over here and start building doing the tilling up the land, and then plant the wheat. Next, we're going to build some workbenches now that we have some logs. You start with some marble. So we're just going to put a couple of these workbenches near the stairs. And the builders will build them since they finished replacing the flooring. I think I can go ahead and put the pasture in here. Pasture. I did an entire video where I went through all of the commands in the UI, what's in every menu, what all of these do, what, you know, all the UI. So that video is on the I'm Gnome One YouTube channel, because again, I was still figuring things out, and the video did not get automatically saved to the Twitch channel, but because I created a Gmail so that I could share those, link in bio, the help documents for Gnormoria. So that is on the I'm Gnome One YouTube channel associated with that Gmail. Skip one. 8x8, so we just need that one. Okay, there we go. So we've got our groves, our farms, and our pastures started. Let's go ahead and replace some more clay for the next round. All right. 6, 7. We have limestone as our base. That's pretty good. We need the limestone to make steel. But lapis lazuli and serpentine are a little bit better in my opinion, because your jeweler can use those to make semi-precious gems, which are better for trading. But it's not the end of the world to have gotten limestone. Let's dig out our central space the way I always do. So I dig out a 6x6 everywhere except floor 1. We can dig out the 4x4 though. And then we'll start building our rooms. 60 times 27. We'll need to replace or add flooring here in this natural cavern. Are you building it properly? The last couple of times I've asked them to build it, they end up just doing nothing, leaving dirt on the floor. Okay, so they built that one. Let's remove these guys and again build more limestone flooring. I do it slowly because if they build a floor over to a ramp, and when they build the floor over the ramp, you can see here maybe, the ramp crumbles into a lump of stone. But if there's a ramp next to it, they'll try and go down the ramp to grab that stone, and if their builder friend builds a floor on top of the ramp and it crumbles away, they will get trapped and die down in the bottom of the floor. Because, I don't know, they just are not smart, I guess? I don't know. Part of the name is that I'm Gnome One, because I'm the gnome in charge. the one who thinks and has to watch out for all the other gnomes. Let's go ahead, now that we have the space over here, build one more of those crude workbenches. And then build some limestone walls to help make the corners of our rooms. I think it's 3. Want to make sure we don't trap any of our gnomes in this little space. Not that I can't just mine them back out, but the goal is to build up the wall and not to trap gnomes. Just start some chisels up. Alright, so we've got limestone. Alright, we've got all of the wheat planted. Did I cancel that? I could have sworn I asked them to replace this. Oh, I forgot. Usually dirt's first. In this particular game, clay will be first. That's going to take some getting used to. Dirt clump. Let's go ahead. See, they did it. I just asked them to do the wrong thing. Alright, so now let's start clearing the next layer. So this is one, and it's going to have both directions so that we get 4. So let's start cutting some limbs down. Not very many trees in this area, all the way over. I think we'll do pine so that there's a little contrast. Because the birch and the orange are both light colored wood and the limestone's a light colored stone. So we'll wait till we get some pine trees to start making the planks. Again, now that the farmers have taken the limbs, I'm going to come back in and ask the woodcutters to cut the trees down. You do not have to get the limbs in order to cut the trees down. You can skip that step, but then you won't be able to replant those trees in a more organized and logical fashion. This is a game all about squares. My husband always calls it, oh, you're playing the game where you build squares. Yes, because it's grid-based. So for this pasture, we will have to wait for the grass to grow in before we can put the pasture in. You have to have grass for pasture. So if I have to wait on the grass for the pasture, I may as well wait for the grass for the groves so that it's prettier. Because sometimes aesthetic is reason enough. So we're going to have this row along here be all of our grains, because the hay and the seeds will go to feed our animals. And then that's why the grove's over here, because it does not, that's less distance to travel for the gnomes to feed the animals. I'm not sure if they've got mountain bees yet. Let's see. It does look like they have. We can keep the woodcutters working. The first couple of rounds don't take very long. The last one, after you've got 16 and you're putting in the last 9, that one takes a while. But we're doing really good. We're already almost done with the second round, and it's not even the second day of spring yet. Let's check on our miners. Okay, cool. We have one more limestone chisel, and then we'll start doing some more mining. Because if you tell them to do mining, that will override their working at the workshops. So then the workshops will not get any work done. They'll be busy doing the given commands. Hit pause. Check check on these guys. Okay, looks like the farmers are done trimming all the limbs. So now we can ask them to do all the foraging to clear the land. Which they will do when they wake up. They have fallen asleep mostly because they didn't have a job to do. I hadn't assigned them anything. And sleep is a thing the gnomes need. We'll work on getting them bedrooms. I hope to have bedrooms done by the end of the first year, so now we can go back to watching. Yes, okay, that's done. I'm not going to use this for anything else. I'll have proper workshops, not just the crude one, before I need any more chisels. The miners are probably also sleeping. It is nighttime, although they will sleep just sort of, they'll just keep going until they pass out, until they have beds. They'll pass out on the floor. You might be noticing Dimbleblath has fallen asleep on the floor. Until they have their own little, until they have beds, and they don't have to be assigned beds, it can be a dormitory, but until there are beds, they will pass out on the floor. Once you have given them beds, though, you'll want to watch out for that, because it usually means a gnome has gotten themselves trapped somewhere, and you need to go dig them out, find them before 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 because chairs need 4 planks, and the workbench needs 6, so we're going to start with 10 planks. On each of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, in order to build chairs and workbenches. Okay, so as I was saying, the gnomes will get themselves trapped. As I said, they'll either go down a ramp that then gets destroyed and be stuck, or they will sometimes very low skilled. The gnomes all have little skills here. I'll pause. We can look at Albink Farmer. You can see what their skills are. If their building skill is very low. Let's see, where's the building? Or is it construction? Wood carving, smelting, metallurgy, pottery, wood carving. This is very interesting content, I'm sure. Construction. This guy only has construction level 8. That's pretty low. Anything below 10 is pretty low, although after 20 or 30 years, they'll start having skills that are like 150, 175, and they'll be really good at it and really fast. But here at the beginning, 8's kind of low. So if a gnome who's builds a fireplace, they will sometimes literally build themselves into the fireplace, trapping themselves. And if you don't notice and don't deconstruct the fireplace before they die of thirst, well, they'll die of thirst. It's very silly. You have to watch them pretty closely. Oops, not clay. Dirt. Let's go ahead and do a little bit more of this to get builders, to keep them occupied. There isn't really enough hauling to do right now to leave gnomes without tasks. See any in the immediate future there. We can go ahead and put in the next farm. This will be rye eventually when I get access to those seeds, probably through alchemy. One more farmer here, and now we will have our first fruit farm. So it'll be, I usually do the wheat, and I give that priority. The grains get priority 2, the fruits get priority 3, vegetables get priority 4, and then 5 is sort of average. I do 2 more rows of the grains, mostly for the straw and seeds to feed the animals, but for the grains as well. And then once I have enough grains, I just replace the 5th row with grass. Although I do have at the very end, farthest away from my central staircase, the grass on this row as well. Because your animals do be eating. Grove. We don't have any So the alphabetically, the farms are going to come in this way, and the first couple levels are usually end up looking like a pinwheel, so alphabetically the trees will come this way. So this will be apple eventually when I get some apple clippings. So I usually do 8x8 groves here in a 5x5 square to match the farms and the pastures that I build. And then around, there's space on the edges where I will also build more groves for extra maple trees and the colors for what I want to build the little bedrooms out of, because I do color-coded sort of bedrooms, color gradient bedrooms in rows, and that takes more wood than 64. So I usually do 15 by 15 or 15 by 20 groves of around the outside for extra fruit and for extra colors, and then maple and pine, because pine is where you get resin, maple is where you get syrup to make sugar, and then everything else, this like other quadrant over here, is mahogany, because that's the most valuable kind of tree, or kind of wood. And they grow slower than the other trees as well. All right, so the woodcutters have kind of stalled out. Let's check on the miners. Good progress. We'll go ahead and set. So this will be the stone masonry mining room over here. That's one of the 4 internal high priority rooms. And then the next one is the woodcutters carpentry room, because these 2 different kinds of, well, groups of workshops build the things for almost every single other workshop, with 1 or 2 exceptions. But to make all the other workshops, you need the stonemason room and the carpentry room. Alright, so those are well started. I have chisels. I usually give the farmers time to plant the fruits before I do the next row. I don't need them to do the tilling on the rye seeds because I don't have access to those seeds yet. So I'm not going to wait for them to finish tilling all of this. And they've already planted the 15 pomegranate seeds I had foraged. So we've already kind of gained another kind of fruit because we foraged wild pomegranates. And we've also gained potato seeds and turnip seeds, and there are around here somewhere some beets as well. I think these are the beets. Beets, a wild beet plant. So we'll get 3 of the 4 ground vegetables, like the kind you grow on the surface. Mushrooms grow underground. They're the 5th kind of vegetable. We get 3 of the 4 just from foraging wild fruits, wild vegetables, and then I usually get the mushrooms through alchemy, although you can also trade for them. They're the one kind of seed you can get, it's not Population Kingdom, from the merchants. Otherwise, you need farmers in order to get more seed types. Watch them plant the strawberries. Check on their miners while they're planting strawberries. Excellent, that's going along. They're almost done planting the strawberries, and then we'll start on going from 4 to 9. And it looks like we might actually get some apple. Alright. And the last strawberry seed is planted, so now it's time to work on row 3. Out to 10. Out to 10. Looks like we're going to get 2 whole apple clippings. But once we have the clippings, we can designate the apple grove. We have so many orange clippings already. 10. All right. And that gives, because I let the farmers plant the fruit, that's giving the carpenters time to start actually making planks. So we can go ahead and queue up some chairs and workbenches and some more planks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Chair. And then we'll need other planks for other things as well. And we're going to have lots of pine trees as soon as this next row is done. So let's go ahead and add some planks on the end after the next set of chairs and workbenches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can just say any, but they'll just grab literally whatever's closest, and they will only make things out of this same type, like chair, any plank. You have to have 4 of the same type of planks. So if you just pick and have them do only that type to start with, it guarantees they don't have to just keep making planks and making planks and making planks until they randomly get enough. We have some more strawberries over here, so that we'll have more to plant once we've done the foraging step on this next round. Let's go ahead, dirt clump, get some more of these. We need the pasture to grow into grass so we can place pastures. So we usually try and give that a slightly higher priority than the farms. It can be hard to see the clay amongst the trees sometimes. You can use the greater than and less than signs next to the M to rotate your view, which will help sometimes. So you can go counterclockwise with your less than symbol, and you can go clockwise, or other way around, I'm sorry, clockwise with your less than symbol and counterclockwise with your greater than symbol. Lovely, they finished that. So I'll let them get about halfway done with this, and we'll see where we are with where the carpenters are with the chairs and tables, and versus where the farmers are. If the farmers have cleared out a space, I may go ahead and let them get to the chairs and workbenches before I start doing any more trees. That way I can at least get the stonemason things built. I haven't asked for that much ground replacement that it'll take the builders too long. So I think this is the last plank, and then they'll start doing those. Same here, excellent. So then they'll take, so you can see they've got a log on the left and planks on the right, so they put the materials they're building with on the left, and then their output is on the right. So you can tell at a glance, he's making a log into a plank, and then if he has planks over here, he's building something with the planks. It's only the second day of spring. We're doing great. We've already started on the 3rd round of 5, and we almost have our chairs and workbenches for our stonemason. So he's already moved 4 of the planks over here. Each workshop tells you how many things it can hold. It can hold 20. So there's 14 spaces available because he has 6 planks in the output spot. If you have 20 things sitting here, the workshop will be full, and they will not be able to build anything else until you take something out of the workshop space, which is why I have, after the chairs and workbenches, 2 sets each are built, I have put in 20 planks to be built so that they'll just have 20 sitting there. I think I'm probably going to, yes, excellent. I've got a chair. We'll have a workbench in a minute. They're very slow because their skills are not leveled up yet. After years and years of them cutting trees and milling logs and building, furniture out of the planks, they will be much faster. But spring year one is usually everybody's pretty slow. You also only have 2 or 3 of everybody. So population, we have 5 farmers. I haven't changed the professions yet to take fabric making away from farmers. I want my farmers to farm. I will make a separate, I'll show probably next time. I usually don't worry about that till summer because I don't have tailor shops and looms and things yet, so there's not going to be taking away excuse me, there's nothing for them to do in that area, so they don't have just the distraction from farming and things. Alright, so we have a chair and workbench from each of these guys, so let's go ahead and have them start felling trees. We've got all of these guys ready to go. We've almost got this corner as well, and that just leaves, let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, so they're about halfway done, the farmers. Alright, let's build first we need the stone cutter that will cut the raw stone into stone blocks. Awesome. Our builders are free. So then after that, we need the stone mason that converts the blocks into things. And since we're going to have these, we'll give my miners, who are also my stonemasons, a chance to make some blocks and make, for example, a saw blade. The saw blades are made out of stone. So we'll go ahead and queue up some limestone blocks. This box holds 18. So 18, 19. So that will leave it open, and then, yes, out of 20. Right now there's a raw stone sitting there, which counts against the available space because it's sitting there. The miners will mine all of this, and then once the workshops have work, if there's no mining to be done, they'll go to the workshops. So we'll just leave them alone for a little while so they can finish mining, and then they'll make some stone blocks for us. Many of my farmers are sleeping. They don't get very good sleep when they pass out on the floor, so then they need to do it more frequently. So that's why their circadian rhythms are not very set yet, because they're getting such bad sleep that they'll pass out again pretty quickly. Almost done with the tree trimming, just a few things in this corner, and then they can forage. I noticed I was going to leave them alone, but they're woken up and they're back to mining. So here we have a lot of copper ore, that's good to see. We have a lot of coal. There's some tin in the wall here. There's some tin over here as well. Alright, back up. Check on the farmers. Oh, very nearly done. Let's go ahead and from the drop-down box, apple clippings. I will eventually have 2. I'm going to go ahead and ask them, give them the command to plant our 2 apple clippings, because once the trees are grown, we can harvest the fruit and they'll grow 2 or 3 times through the year, new fresh fruit. And then we'll let them do that before we start the foraging. It will not take them very long. There's already someone doing it. Those are almost done. 10. Everything is set up for foraging. This usually doesn't take very long. There's usually slightly less forage than other trees. Sometimes it's the other way around though. Sometimes you get a lot of forage and not very many trees, and then you don't have as much wood to work with early on. This seems like a pretty good mix. I think the last game that I tried to do on stream was very dense trees. I was thinking we were not going to get all 5 rounds of clearing finished before summer started. I usually try to have my 25 farms, 25 groves, and 25 pastures designated before the beginning of summer. This farm area? No, there's a tree in the way. We'll just have to wait. There will be some strawberries to plant anyway. So I usually go ahead and put cotton in with the vegetables, since there's a row of 5 and we only have 4 above ground vegetables, whereas we have 5 above ground fruits. Planted fruits. Excellent. How many have we got? 12. Very nice. The next round we'll get some more apples. They're almost done with the strawberries. Okay, so sometimes it's hard to see where the edges of the little shaded areas are. So your cursor is green if it's just something you can select. It's purple if it's like you can add to an existing pasture. And if you try and do multiples, it will just ignore that. So it's red where it can't be selected. So I found the edge of it by going purple, green, skip this space, and that leaves me the space in between the pastures. This one is not big enough. That one didn't get me big enough. Let's go ahead and start the next round. Nobody's going to starve to death if we don't get the cotton planted right away. Whereas we need the fruit for both eating, but also for making into wine. Clay, dirt. Oh, that's going to mess me up. You guys are going to watch me say that a lot. Usually you get dirt first. We just didn't this time. Don't need to replace that one. Okay. So we've got wheat, rye, this will be oat. Eventually, one day, when we get the seeds for it. That's a heck of a name. Let's have a pause and look at all of our names, shall we? Mink, not too crazy. Evelata, Jer, Razlet, Odlid, Etappapapo, Albink, Wabinky, Jun, Mixel, Nan, Fizzy, Dindlemblaff, Spixit, Tumperi, Mac, and Dance. Some of these names, my guys, some of your names. Oh look, more pomegranate. Excellent. I couldn't see it because of the trees. Let's just go ahead and get that one. It's not... It's outside this line, but I want the pomegranate seeds. So... woodcutters, still working over there. This is outside the line, I'm not gonna worry about it. They finished. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Let's block storage made out of blocks, and then saw blade out of the block. Once we have the saw blade, we'll go ahead and start doing some more mining. Queue up any more tree chopping until after this round of tree chopping is finished. Alright, we have the saw blade. Let's go ahead and build the sawmill. Oh, I haven't left, never mind. I haven't given the the carpenters a chance to, or the woodcutters a chance to carpent. One day I'll learn to speak my native language and not in an insane way. Maybe. No promises. We'll put our food and drink making over here and our metal over here. We'll let the food and drink get a little bit more progress before. Grove will start here, alphabetically come down this way, and then start in this row. Turnips. The drinks area. I usually do the drinks in this corner. Builder is making the block piles at the moment because I don't have any other build jobs queued up, because I don't have chairs and workbenches, because I've been chopping trees. Farmers are going to be caught up very soon. At least a few more pomegranates to plant, and we can go ahead and forage. We don't have to wait for the woodcutters to cut things down to forage. Okay. If, for example, you can either take, the pine trees will give you limbs, but also, as you can see, they give you pine resin. So if you hit pick, or sorry, forage, I use P, so I remember it's like pick the fruit, they'll just get the resin. Or you can ask them to take the limb and they'll get both. But one command will override the other. So if you've asked them to take the limbs and then you use the forage command over that, it will override the taking the limb, and then they'll only pick or forage the resin. So then you won't get the tree limb. The carpenters are finally finished with this area. We can place all the groves. Which is good because we're going to put the orange goes over here. got more apple clippings to plant from this corner, so that's nice. And we planted our pomegranate seeds. Or at least the two we got over there. We'll get at least one or two more from that wild pomegranate plant. Oh, we can go ahead and plant this farm. Replace this farm for cotton. Move the bags. This is temporary storage for now. There's a bag. One of these bags has cotton seeds in it, and I'd rather they empty the bag before they start coming and getting random cotton seeds from wherever we've harvested some wild cotton. Tomatoes is one we will not be able to forage wild. We will have to get either through trading or through alchemy. Alright. Because the carpenters are so far behind, we will probably plant the apple trees before we get this last row, just to give the woodcutters time to catch up. Let's do some of our first permanent storage. Blocks will hold our stone blocks. Storage, miscellaneous, block piles. We have 16, and I've gone ahead and put 13, 14, 15, 16. So the builders will get to that soon. Okay, how many apple clippings do we get? 53. Very nice. Let's go ahead and do that. And forage this area out as well before we do this last row of our second to last group. Last side, I guess I should say. Also put permanently, we want you to keep 100 limestone blocks. This guy's in the row, so I should be able to place a grove here without needing to trim any trees. Progress is being made on planting the apple trees. I think no, they haven't finished the foraging. midnight bag. That's pretty unusual. You don't usually see the dyed bags in your starting equipment. Fun. We will be selling that later. Alright, so we only have one more row of 10. Let's go ahead and do one more dirt clump here. It's right on the edge. I'm not sure about these guys. Let's just go ahead and get them. We're going to want everything to be grass and dirt eventually anyway. Because we're going to plant almost every square. Some of the commands, the little transparent, like, a task has been assigned to this area. If they start it and don't finish it because they get hungry or they fell asleep or they went to get something to drink, the transparent marker will disappear, but it's still there. They're still going to do it. It's just a silly glitch of the game where sometimes the little marker disappears if it's not completed all in one sitting. Okay, look, we can put one more farm in. Alright, so we have our barley, oats, rye, and wheat. And then there's a fifth kind of grain called cave wheat that grows underground that you get through alchemy. Only through alchemy. All the underground seeds are acquired through alchemy except for mushrooms, which you can get through alchemy, but you can also trade for them. How many are planted? There's one that still needs to be planted because 8 by 6 is 48. Okay, we planted it. Let's go ahead and queue up 8 more. Another row. And then we'll get enough to finish out our alphabetical apple grove. I usually, like I said, have around the very perimeter of my settlement the extra fruit and colored tree groves. So let's go ahead and, nope, not clay. Like I said, you're gonna watch me do that a lot this game. Go ahead and replace all this, because I usually start in the corner here next to the farms for the fruit trees, and then have the colored going the other way past the groves. Let's place the pastures. We're almost done. We've almost got 16 of 25 pastures. 8 by 8. We're doing really good. It's only halfway through spring. Started on the blocks. We don't need those really badly right now. Let's get our inner ring pathway sorted. Part of the reason I like this, another reason I like this size map is because the math works out where you have these, I've taken the corners off, but these sort of 25 by 25 rooms with a little notch in the corner for my central rooms, and then you can have a 4 wide hallway, another set of 25, and then a 4 wide hallway, because the math just works out with the 128. that one did get canceled. Oh, no. He's planting it. It was just somebody else was doing it. And I didn't see them. And we need 8 more apple clippings. Nope. My animals never get shelter. Can't build anything in the pastures. Wish these trees were gone. I'd go ahead and start the grapes. The grape farm. Let's go ahead and clear this area out. Get me some limbs, and that'll get me 2 more apple clippings too. These limbs. We will want at least 64 of them. Although I know I'm going to want more like 300 of the blue, the opal wood. I've only got 1 of them right now, but you can queue something up knowing that you're going to have the resource to do it, even if you don't have the resource yet, and they'll just do it once they get the resource, which in this case is an apple clipping. It might be planks, or stone, or something else. Just depends. I'm gonna leave that for now. I want them to finish chopping this stuff sooner. I kind of wished well, let's suspend all that. That's right, there's job, suspend. So they will temporarily not chop those trees until they finish the oven, until I turn that back on. May as well go ahead and start. The farmer's doing their part. That's not going to hold up the carpenters in any way, shape, or form. I'm not going to worry about those. It's only 3. It won't take them very long. Yes, good. He's coming over here. I want to put the grape farm in. And then once the farmers are done with this area, I will leave them to do the grape farm. Before any of the birds eat the grape seeds. I've had that happen before, where I didn't get to start with the full 32 grape seeds because the birds ate some of them. All right. Job. Resume. Doing really well. The wheat will start growing around the end of day 7, early day 8, and we're going to want to, once the wheat starts growing, we're going to want to try and do less with the farmers so that they can just focus on farming. Which is why I try as hard as possible to get as much cleared before we reach that point as I possibly can. hopefully the woodcutters finish chopping all of these trees down for me to put in the orange grove next. Excellent, they're starting on the grapes. How are my miners doing on the hallway? Very good. We'll let them finish the hallway and then we'll start on the exterior staircases. Things are coming along. We'll do one more day. Got 16 of 25 pastures placed. I haven't placed any animals in the pastures yet because I need the stonemasons, the miners, to build troughs in order to put food for the animals in the pastures. I usually start with about 8 troughs per pasture. It's pretty good storage, and then I build it up from there over, as my stonemasons get more time. Alright. I'm really close to having this 4th ring of stuff done. And I've got 3 sleeping farmers, which is fine. Patty Cat's here. She's not the one who was being bad earlier. That was Freddy Cat. No. Do you have to walk all over my desk? I gave you 1/3 of it to use for your cat bed, and you have to stand everywhere else but your cat bed? Come lay down. Come lay down, please. Good girl. Everybody welcome Patty Cat to the desk. I love you, Patty Cat. Alright, the farmers have started planting grapes. Excellent. They're already almost 1/4 of the way done. And the woodcutters are almost done chopping trees. This will be orange. As soon as they're done planting the grapes, I will queue up the planting of the orange grove, and then we'll start on the 5th ring. They probably won't quite finish it before the wheat starts to grow, but they'll be done, and I can just leave them alone until winter. The farmers, that is. Leave the farmers alone until winter to just farm. Amazing. Almost done. 1, 2, 3, 4 rows is 32, and I have 32 seeds. And I have more than enough orange clippings. Again, the cotton is going to be a little while before I'm ready for it, so. And this gets the trees growing. here, which again, they won't have any seeds until this grows and we get seeds from this farm that then we can also plant in this farm. But they'll replant this one first because it's the higher priority farm. This is priority. This row is 2, this row is 3, this row is 4, and this row will be priority. These 2 rows will be priority 5 once I get this row cleared out. Let's go ahead and tell them to plant apple clippings. I don't have any right now, but when we go to do the next row, we'll get both here. We'll get some from here and from over here. Maybe some from over here as well. Okay, let's start before we go. Checking what is around 64 and 65. We can go ahead and start that one. So I start in the middle and at the corners, and then I just make a nice diagonal staircase down until they meet in the middle at level 32. So you have these nice V's on the sides. That's level 7. The trees, no, we can go ahead and place these too. And again, I'm hitting R to rotate. And I use the K key. I have assigned the K key to dig staircase down. So if I misclick and I use the C key to cancel, I don't have to go through the menus. I can just set them. Let's find the 64th square down this way. Is there a tree in it? No. Yes. Let's go ahead and get these guys. And I have the game set so that it saves every day at sunrise. But you can also hit F4 to save. Oh, I'm gonna have to trim these guys. Let's replant those 2 so we can keep. Let's just plant 7. Grown by 14 at a time. It'll be a hot minute. We're just working on getting them started. 64 was that one. So I do every corner and then starting at the center going down of the square sides as well. And like I said, that makes eventually I carry this V all the way down to where they meet at level 32. So you can kind of look at that. They're already doing trimming and things. So you can kind of see what from the top you can see the diagonal going down, and eventually it'll go all the way down to level 32. And you'll have a V here and a V here. Let's place another farm. That will eventually be rye. Because this is the 4th row, so it'll be more grains. Let's go ahead and start the farmers if they're doing They usually go to the thing that is the next, literally closest to wherever they're standing. Not even on this level, just the closest to wherever they're standing. 78 times 10. 10 times 10. No trees in this corner. Excellent. Less chopping to do. 7 times 10. Okay, so we have queued up the farmers to take all the limbs from the last row. We started doing the staircase, the perimeter staircases, which also gets us a little more dirt. So we've planted the opal wood limbs so that we'll have 2, 4, 5, 12 trees in the end. Amazing. Oops, didn't mean to zoom in, I meant to zoom out. So we've got 16 of 25 of our groves designated, 16 of 25 of our farms designated, and 16 of 25 of our pastures designated. We've got our central rooms dug out. We've started on our perimeter staircases. I do usually connect level 7 and 8 with some internal staircases, but I don't carry them. I make level 8 a storage level, so that just adds more pathing between those two levels. Oh, somebody's coming over here to chop. Excellent. That'll be another staircase we can do. We've got 5 more hours until the day is over and it autosaves. Let's go ahead and do this staircase as well. Oh, nope. They fell asleep on the way to chopping the tree. It happens. Farmers haven't foraged that grass yet either. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I can do this one. Was that 64 or 65? I think it was 64. Let me double check. Yes, it was 64, so that goes that direction. We're almost, done getting the perimeter staircases set up. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of 8 already. And now we can do 7 of 8. So it'll just be that upper corner where I didn't leave the farmers enough time and space to forage that grass. I got overexcited. But 7 of 8 is not bad. And that is day 7 finished. We've made really good progress this week. We've almost finished planting the oranges. They only have 4 more to plant. They've started, I've queued up at least the limb trimming of these trees. The carpenters are getting back to building planks for chairs and workbenches while the farmers are working, which is fine. We need to go ahead and get the sawmill and carpenter workshop started. Let's queue up we've got some blocks, so let's make some tables, a chair, some hearths, molds, and furnaces. And that will be wait on the troughs for now. I'm gonna go ahead and hit save again since I queued up some things since it saved. And that is really good progress on the twitchy one, Gnormoria settlement for now. Thanks, guys.